Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I honestly haven't planned anything for this video. I'm just going to be speaking spontaneously from my heart about the reality of moving abroad for love, in my case moving from New Zealand to Germany. And I actually made a video a while ago now where I shared my international love story, how Rob and I met and how I ended up in Germany. I received so much wonderful feedback on that video, and so many of you said to me, oh, it just all sounded so romantic and so perfect. And honestly, everything I talked about in that video was true, but I did not talk about the struggles that we have faced and the challenges, the obstacles that we have faced. The funny thing is that if I could go back in time right now, I would not change any of it. If somebody told me 10 years ago about all of the obstacles and the challenges I was going to be facing moving to Germany, getting married, you know, being in a bicultural relationship, a bicultural marriage, but they also told me that I was going to have the most wonderful, loving husband and two beautiful children, and I was going to be able to travel and learn a new language, there is no way I would change any of it. It's all part of me, it's part of my story, and all of these challenges I have faced have made me so much stronger and so much more resilient, and I am so grateful for that. Now, there's been something that has been really challenging for me lately, more so than ever actually, and I have been really trying hard to be strong and to think positively about the situation. I haven't been back home to New Zealand in 2 years now. And it's actually really hard for me to say. I hope I can hold myself together for this video because I've been finding this really hard lately. I am very, very homesick right now, and I think it's probably because Christmas is drawing closer and I miss my family in New Zealand so much. When I first moved to Germany, it was so much easier for me to go back home to New Zealand every single year. I could go for at least 6 weeks because I just had myself and Rob to think about. Now I have 2 children, and everything changes once you have children and you are living abroad. Before I had children, it would cost around €1,000, sometimes at €1,500, depending on the time of year I would travel to New Zealand. And sometimes I would just go on my own, and sometimes Rob would come with me. And that was pretty expensive. Like, we would have to save for our tickets to go back to New Zealand, but it was definitely doable. My little boy Mateo is now over 2, so basically I have to book a full ticket for him. It costs basically the same. It's an adult's ticket, a little bit less. And also Amelia, my 5-year-old, she's almost 6. I have to pay pretty much full price for her to travel as well. And it is just so expensive for all of us to travel to New Zealand, you know, every single year. We have to really save, and right now we're building a house. We're still paying rent in the place that we are living in now, on top of building a house, and we just cannot justify that much money right now for our whole family to fly to New Zealand for Christmas. It's just not realistic for us right now. I also can't just fly alone because my children are not used to being away from me. They are very, very dependent on me, and even though they love their papa, they absolutely adore Rob, they would not cope being away from me, and I don't want to be away from them either. It's not just the price factor, it is the trip itself. It is very, very challenging for small children to travel for that long, and it is, to be honest, it's actually a nightmare. To get from Germany to New Zealand, it is a minimum of 25 hours in the air. That is 2 separate flights. You have a stopover, and it's basically, you're well over 2 days, like 3 days traveling with the stopovers. It's a 12-hour time difference, and traveling that far with 2 small children is extremely challenging. Now, the last time that I traveled back to New Zealand, as I mentioned, was 2 years ago. Mateo was 3 months old, and honestly I feel like I am still kind of traumatized by that whole trip. It was very, very difficult. Amelia was very, very good. She traveled very, very well. It was very hard on her, but I think she did very well. Amelia also adjusted really quickly to the jet lag, and it was actually fine for Amelia, but Mateo at 3 months old, he was very, very confused, and he slept terribly on the flight. I basically got no sleep the entire time, and Rob also didn't get much sleep at all, and he didn't couldn't sleep when we got to New Zealand because his whole schedule had been turned upside down, and I was exhausted. I wanted to be catching up with family and friends, but I was just not in a good state mentally. Rob and I, we were so incredibly sleep deprived when we arrived in New Zealand. We were arguing. We don't usually argue. It was just horrible, and I hadn't seen my family and friends for so long, and I didn't want them to see me like that. It took probably a good week to kind of recover from the flight and the jet lag and get the kids in a little bit of a routine. Even then, Mateo wasn't sleeping very well at all, so Rob and I were very, very tired. It was just a really hard trip for everybody, and instead of sort of enjoying being back at home with my loved ones, I was struggling with all of these other issues. It's when the reality of living abroad just really hit for me, and I realized that it's not going to be as easy as I thought, just flying back to New Zealand every single year. It was a really tough realization, and I have been struggling a lot with it. Not only is it very, very expensive for plane tickets, but it's also hard on my kids. The flights were just really hard on them, Mateo in particular, because he was so young, and I just felt almost cruel putting them through that again. And I think that's also part of the reason why it's been 2 years since I've been home. When I say home, my New Zealand home, I do consider Germany home as well. I have 2 homes. Definitely Rob and I, we just don't have ourselves to think about anymore. We have our children to think about and consider. My sister, she actually lives in New York. She's married to an American, and she reassured me that traveling with older children is so much easier than traveling with smaller children. So that definitely gave us some hope, and I really think that it's going to be much more doable to get to New Zealand every year once the kids are a little bit older. The next challenge we have to face is the fact that Amelia is going to be starting school next year, and it's definitely not easy to pull a kid out of school to go away, on a holiday in Germany. It's just not possible. So we probably are going to have to go to New Zealand in Amelia's summer holidays, which means we will be going to New Zealand in winter time. And then we will miss a big chunk of our German summer, which is such a shame. But, I think that's what we're going to have to do to make it work. I said to Rob, if we do that, then during the German winter, we are going to have to go for a couple of weeks to a destination that is warm and sunny, so I can get my sort of, sunshine fix. Anyway, I think we can make that work. So obviously all of these struggles, all of these obstacles that we have to face in our relationship, it does put a strain on our relationship, but I think we are a really strong unit, and we can work through anything together. All of these challenges that we have, I honestly believe that they have made our relationship stronger, because Rob and I, we talk about everything. We are great communicators. If we have a problem, we just always talk through it, and it just makes a world of difference. I just think communication is so important in relationships in general, but specifically if you are in an intercultural relationship, a bicultural relationship, you need to communicate, you need to voice your worries, your concerns, and you need to just talk about it, and it just makes everything so much better. Another obstacle that you can face when moving abroad for love is the fact that one partner is always going to be missing their friends and family back home, and there's just nothing you can do about it. You just have to accept it. If we ever move back to New Zealand, then Rob is going to be facing exactly the same challenges that I face in Germany, just in reverse. We just have to face the fact that this is our decision. We want to be together, and this is the sacrifice that we have to make to be together. So anyway, I just feel so much better talking about this and getting this off my chest, and I don't want you to all get the wrong idea. I don't want you to think that I am constantly sad and missing my family, and that I'm miserable here in Germany, because that couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, I miss my family like crazy. I would love to go back home for Christmas this year. I would absolutely love that. But I'm so lucky to be in Germany for Christmas. Germany is magical during Christmas time, and I really have to count my blessings, because I really do have a lot of blessings. Honestly, most of the time I am just busy with life in Germany. I'm too busy to be sad or, you know, wallowing in my sorrows. I am busy with my kids, with my friends, with my family. I have a very full life here in Germany, and I love living here. You guys know that. Sometimes living abroad, it can be really tough because you have your heart, like part of your heart, in both places at the same time, and it can be confusing. It is kind of a really weird concept to kind of get your head around unless you've experienced it yourself. When you move abroad and you fall in love with that country, but you're also in love with your homeland, you can feel very, very torn, and you have so many different people in your life. So for all the other expats who have moved abroad, whether it be for love or for work or whatever, I have so much respect for you. I know what you are going through. I understand, you know, the joys and the sorrows and just everything. And I just want you to know that, you know, I'm going through the same thing as you, and we can get through this together, and we have to be strong. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love you to join this little community on YouTube, and feel free to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.